All right. Pre-qualifying listing script. This is the conversation that we're having with people before the listing appointment. This conversation is extremely important because this is the difference between you getting a listing and not getting one. This is the difference between you being able to handle an objection at the table and not being able to handle it. This is the difference between you having to cut your commission and not cutting your commission. The pre-qualifying script has earned me hundreds of thousands of more dollars. The pre-qualifying script has had me get signed significantly more listings than walking away from. Early on in my career, I would walk into a listing appointment blind and I would handle the objections there in person. Now, at this point in my career, I walk into it ready to sign. I walk into my listing presentations ready to acknowledge some of the issues that I know, some of the objections I'm going to face. But I walk into them confidently because I know what's going to be said. I know the problems I'm going to face and I know how to handle them because of this script, pre-qualifying. So what I want to do is I want to spend a little time with you guys going over the questions and then going over the delivery of the questions, because in previous trainings, I've taught you guys that it's not what you say, it's also how you say it that carries a lot of weight. And give me a second. I'm going to send out a link to the rest of the group. I don't think we got a chance to send everything out. So give me a moment as I send out the training link to the rest of the people. One moment. This way we get an opportunity to get everyone on board. Give me 1 minute, folks. One sec. There we go. All right, just sent it out to everyone. Okay. Oh, got some people in the waiting room. Hold on. Okay, pre-qualifying script. In the beginning, it's a salutation. To me, it doesn't really matter how you salute or how you acknowledge your client. What's most important to me right here is that you just have a salutation. Now, if you have someone that you're in a relationship with, of course, it's going to sound a little different. However, one of the biggest kickbacks that I get from most agents, most of the people that I'm training, is that they don't feel comfortable asking these questions to friends and family, people that they know. This pre-qualifying script gets asked to everyone. You ask everyone this pre-qualifying script. Who do you ask? Everyone. You ask everyone. A doctor does not allow a patient, regardless of their relationship together, does not allow a patient to bypass the screening process. Every single patient that goes into the doctor's office must go through a screening process. They have to get their blood work done, their breath work done. They have to sit on a scale, have to answer some questions about why they're there for their visit today. This is the same exact thing. And the doctor doesn't say, oh, wait. Sorry, Des. Sorry, Crystal. You're my cousin. You actually don't have to do any blood work today. You don't have to stand on the scale. You don't have to answer these questions. Just come on in. Absolutely not. Every single patient, regardless of status or regardless of familiarity, must go through that pre-qualifying procedure before you go to and visit the doctor. Same thing here. You're a professional. Your mom, your aunt, your uncle, everyone must go through the pre-qualifying script. If you feel uncomfortable and awkward about it, ask yourself why. It might just be a drunk monkey or some sort of limiting belief that you have, and that's something else that we have to work on. So pre-qualifying the listing. So let's start off with, hi, blank. This is blank. How are you today? Just a simple salutation. You can change that if you want. It doesn't have to be that way. Thank you, Dolores, for putting your camera on, and thank you guys for the rest of putting your camera on. I know you guys might be busy, but if you guys can, put your camera on, please. It makes it a lot more interactive. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself. So thank you. I'm giving you a quick call to let you know that I'm looking forward to seeing you on blank. Before I come out, there are a couple of quick questions I have for you. When I come out tomorrow, if what I say makes sense, you feel comfortable and confident with me, and you know I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out on Friday? And then you have the questions. Tell me again, where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? Are you familiar with what is going on in home prices right now? Right now, we're seeing X. Since I'm studying homes and prices every single day, got the pulse on the market, you'll consider listing with me at the price I sell for, correct? What price won't you go below? How much do you owe on the property? Have you ever thought about selling the home yourself? Are you planning on interviewing more than one agent on the job of selling your property? Are you open to doing any kind of financing for the buyer? Do you want to cash out? Would you please describe the home for me? I'll be sending information with the list to sell your home. Would you please take a moment to take a look at it? By that point, you would have sent it over to them already. Do you have any questions before I arrive? And so, our meeting should only take about 5 to 25 minutes. Is that okay? There's one question that's not on here that I'm going to give you guys at the very end that's going to save you and going to help you earn a lot of money for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. You're going to have to stick around. Before I do that, there's someone on this call that I want to have them jump on really quickly. It's one of the newest agents that I helped coach. And we coached her for 2 or 3 days on this pre-qualifying script. We coached this agent that I'm going to bring on, and for 2 to 3 days before she used this script, I coached her on how to say it. We changed the words on the script, and we even went over the delivery, where the pauses were, how she was going to say it, how she was going to ask the questions. And she ended up walking out with a 6% listing at $850,000. Dolores, can you jump on really fast? Are you available to, or I know you said you have a sick baby in the background. Let me know if you're available to. Are you able to jump in?
Yeah. Yes. So it was tough. It was difficult because some of the words weren't easy for me to say, or I wasn't used to saying some of the words. So Gabe said, just change it, make it your own. And that helped a lot.
And what were some of the things that we went over during those few days that we were reviewing the pre-qualifying script? We changed the words. What else did we do?
How to deliver it.
What were some of the breakthroughs you had? And before you just calling the client on your own, us actually doing this together, how did that change or alter? How do you feel that changed or altered the outcome? What were some of the breakthroughs that you had?
Oh, 100%. Because I felt more confident. I felt comfortable when I was practicing over and over. I just got comfortable, and it just gave me confidence.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dolores. And just so you guys know, we went over that together, and she ended up walking out the 6% signed listing at $850,000. So it took a few days to get it dialed in, but her income shot up significantly because her mastering the skill. All right, so let's go into it. This script is attached to the email invitation that we sent to all of you. All you have to do is click on the link that's attached to the email and you'll have it. All right. There's a couple things that I wrote down that I want you guys to realize. Every single time that you see 3 dots on the script, that is your opportunity for you to pause. It's a brief pause. This is how brief it is. Hi, how are you today? Every time you see that, I want you to do 3 quick claps. Every time you see those 3 dots in that script. Hi, this is Gabe. How are you today? Fantastic. I'm giving you a quick call to let you know that I'm looking forward to seeing you on, so there's a little glare in my eye right now, seeing you on Monday. Before I come out, there are a couple of questions I have for you, okay? Great. This entire script needs to be delivered. The second thing I wrote down for you, the entire script needs to be delivered with enthusiasm. You need to have a level of enthusiasm that's excited, not overly energetic when you're delivering the script. You can't be like, hi, Crystal, what's up? This is Gabe. How are you today? Fantastic. You can't be overly excited. You do have to have a level of control and a level of authority. You're pre-qualifying the client. So hi, but you also cannot be monotone and boring. Because if you're monotone and boring with someone that you're just getting ready to meet, and you go up against someone like myself, who's enthusiastic for the job, and we both say the same words, we both ask the same questions, but you're monotone and I'm enthusiastic, I'm actually excited to get the home sold, energy alone is going to convince them. So you need to have a level of enthusiasm when you're delivering this script. Hi, this is blank. How are you today? Fantastic. I'm giving you a quick call. When I come out tomorrow, if what I say makes sense to you, you feel comfortable and confident with me, and you know I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow? Now, you're going to feel uncomfortable, but you have to ask this question. This first question of you asking people, are you planning on listing your home with me tomorrow when I come out? If what I tell you makes sense, you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out tomorrow? It's a very uncomfortable question to ask, but listen to me here. When you have a seller in your hand and you have an appointment coming up the following day or 2 days from now, this is highly important that you ask that first question. If they tell you, yes, I'm planning on listing and selling the home with you tomorrow, tomorrow's appointment is just a come list me call. That's all it is. You're walking into their home. You can bypass all this information. You don't have to ask any more questions. And you just say, great, tomorrow when I come out, it should take about 5 to 15 minutes. I'm going to take a look at the condition of the house. We're going to go over the paperwork, get everything signed, and we'll move on. If they tell you, yes, I plan on listing everything with you tomorrow. Great. Do you have any questions about anything I sent over to you? No. Perfect. Just to let you know, tomorrow's appointment, which is right here at the bottom. Just so you know, our meeting should take about 5 to 25 minutes. Is that okay? We're going to go over the marketing pieces, look at the condition of your home, and get all the paperwork signed. If they tell you yes on this portion right here, you must ask that question. Because if you don't ask this question, here's what can happen. In their head, they might think, I'm ready to sign with Stephanie. Like, I'm ready to go, Stephanie Hortel. Like, let's get this thing signed. But if you don't ask this question, and you start going into these other 10, 12 questions that you have ready to ask, you might create doubt in your prospect's mind when they were already certain of doing business with you. I'm going to say that one more time. When your client is already certain of doing business with you, and you ask these questions when they're already ready to sign with you, you can create doubt. And for those of you guys who joined late, this pre-qualifying script, this is something you're going to ask everyone. You're going to ask every friend, every referral, every family member. Everyone gets these questions. Not one person does not get it. You ask everyone it. The same way the doctor, when you have a doctor's appointment, it doesn't matter if you're an aunt, an uncle, a friend, a referral. If you go to the doctor's office and you have a doctor's visit, you have to go through the pre-qualifying process. You have to get your blood work done. You have to sit on a scale. They have to look at your heart rate. They do all of those things to make sure you're healthy. Not one appointment doesn't get that done before seeing the doctor. Every one of your clients, regardless of status, will get this pre-qualifying script. First question is really important. Tell me again where you're moving to. The reason you're asking this question right here, tell me again where you're moving to, is you're getting them excited about their motivation. When you're calling these sellers, you have to future pace and get them excited. When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? The reason you're asking that question number 2 is because you want to find out where their head is at. Are they actually under market value? Are they way out of space? And are they thinking about a number that doesn't exist anymore in this market? Number 3, are you familiar with what's going on with prices right now? Stay quiet. Let them answer the question. If they tell you, yeah, I see prices getting slashed. I see homes sitting on the market longer than expected. I see the interest rates are a lot higher. If they tell you those things, then you know that they're thinking the right thing. And then you can elaborate if they tell you no. Number 4, since I'm studying homes and prices every day, have my thumb on the pulse, this is where you can change the language. I sat with Dolores for 45 minutes and we changed the language on this pre-qualifying script right here. I have my thumb firmly on the pulse of the market. I don't talk like that. Gabe Mendez doesn't speak like that. Change that language to however you want to change it to, but make sure you get the same point across. Since I'm studying homes and prices every day and I have my thumb firmly on the pulse of the market, therefore I'll assume you'll consider a list with me at a price that'll cause your home to sell, correct? Change that language a little. I know probably none of you speak like that, so go ahead and change it. Number 4 is really important because you're going to find out one of two things. Either their price is very out of it, like, no, well, I don't want to give my house away for free. I don't want to, I don't want to give it, a cheap price. I don't want to just give it away. You're going to have that objection come up immediately when you're answering this question. Or they just might say, yeah, no, I totally get it. You're the professional. Jennifer, you're the professional. Silvano, you're the professional. Whatever you recommend, I'm going to go with it. Now you know you're probably not going to, now you know you're not going to have a listing price objection because the client already trusts your judgment. Have you ever thought about selling the home yourself? You might have some clients who want to go FSBO. You want to quickly isolate that objection. What price won't you go below? How much do you owe on the property? Now, when you ask this question, what price won't you go below? You need to know their threshold so that when you're marketing the property, when you're going through negotiations, you know exactly what their pain threshold is. How much do you owe on the property? This is for your net sheet. Number 7, does anyone have a hard time asking number 7? Just a little thumbs up is cool. Does anyone have a hard time asking question number 7? Just curious. This way I know not to spend a lot of time on it if you don't. If you guys are okay asking question number 7, I won't go too deep about it. But question number 7 asks, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Question number 7. The reason this one's so important is because you need to know who the competition is. If your client tells you, I am planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling the home, and they tell you yes, it hurts. Let's be honest, it does hurt. And if you haven't run into that problem, you will. List more homes, and eventually you're going to run into a seller who wants to interview other agents. If they want to interview other agents, you have to ask this question right afterwards. What are their names and license numbers? If they tell you yes on number 7, which is not on here, then you need to ask them, what are their names and license numbers? The reason you want to get the names and license numbers of the other agents is because you want to find out who the competition is. Who are the other agents they're interviewing? And like any good business owner, you want to find out where you excel versus where they don't excel. What do you do really well that they don't? And because you're part of the organization, you have access to people like Monica Singer, William Alarguin, myself, Algarin. You have people like us. You can leverage all of us together, put all of our social media followings together, put all of our expertise together and say, yeah, this is my team here that I have access to. I promise you this. If you put Monica Singer's Instagram and Facebook, and you combine it with my Instagram and Facebook, and you say, these are the people on my team and how we're going to expose your property, and the other team is charging 6%, and you're charging 6%, and the only difference is who can expose my property to more people, but you have Monica Singer, Gabe, William, all these heavy influencers on your side, you're getting that listing signed before the other person does, if you know how to present the information properly. That is the benefit of being part of the organization. Are you planning on, I promise you, no other agent has what we have combined. Not our YouTube, not our Facebook, not our Instagram, not our reach. Are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Yes. What are their names and license numbers?
Gabe, question.
Ask.
So on that portion there, have you came across sellers that say, oh, I don't feel comfortable releasing that information, or they just don't provide that information?
I've never had a seller not give me the other agent's information. No.
Because me personally, if I was a seller, I wouldn't. I would just be like, well, just come with what you got.
No, so if you were to tell me that, then I would automatically disqualify that way of thinking. So I have to disqualify that way of thinking and letting you know, well, hey, listen, Stephanie, you want to have honest proposals that are side by side, right? That's important to you. And you want to know from the inside what I know that you don't know. Isn't that right? Like, yeah, I'd like to know that stuff. Great. Well, if you give me this information here, I can show you the proposal. I can show you from the inside things that you can't see that I can show you. This is why I'm asking you for that information. I have to quickly disqualify your way of thinking and
Oh,
get you to think my way. Find all the pain points in that. So if I did have a seller, I would quickly say something like that would make you doubt your way of thinking.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Really good question, Steph. And you guys can jump in. Go ahead.
So Gabe, sorry to, I know I'm in a different state than you all, but in Maryland, it's illegal. So, you know, obviously I would have to go about it a different way. I would just obviously have to show a broader, just why I'm better. But I remember in the last class you were speaking on, and a couple of my agents, we were all like, yeah, we can't do that out here. It's just a little bit, you know, they don't allow it at all. So if it was found out at least.
So there was, what is it that's not allowed exactly?
The disclosure of trying to compare yourself to other agents, and the disclosure of like, yeah, I do this better than them and things of that nature. It's in our ethics training we do every year. So I know it's in some form, you know, illegal. I guess it's all in how you structure it, I would say, you know, and if you're reported or whatever the case is, I don't know. But like I said, I know it's in, we go over it, but I guess, you know, just, I guess from a broader standpoint, I guess trying to just go over it from a broader standpoint of just why you're better than these other agents, you know, having them exposed to say, all right, even if they don't give that information, you could still come at them and say, well, you know, this is what we offer and qualify. Do you think that other agent, you know, is able to qualify this and such and such and so on?
So if you have that situation, the way that I would go about it, number one, yeah, I would triple down on some of the strengths that you have. But the other thing too, if you know that seller's not going to sign that listing agreement that day with you because they're interviewing other people, and let's just say you go first, then you want to leave them with a list of questions to ask the other agents. What's your marketing? How many followers do you have across your social platforms? How do you plan? How many people can you, outside of the MLS, how many people can you expose my property to? And leave the seller with a list of questions to ask the other people. And then if you go first, tell the seller, do me a favor, ask these questions to all the agents. And then after you're done interviewing everyone, let's meet one more time. Let's review the answers together to see if you feel comfortable with them. I would find a way around it where they're the ones doing all the research and you're educating the seller. That's what I did with one of the sellers that I met with. I gave them a list of questions. I was the first to be interviewed. I said, ask your agents these questions. How do they plan on exposing your property? How much exposure can they get outside of the MLS? What are they doing differently outside of posting a sign for sale? And I even taught the seller the difference between posting and advertising. I said, most agents are going to tell you they do social media. They post it on social media, but what does that really mean? Posting it on social media looks like this. Advertising it on social media looks like this. Here's the results from our advertising. And I showed them the results, and they actually went and asked the other agents those questions. And when they came back to me, they're like, yeah, it was clear, like you were the best at that point. This way I didn't have to compare myself to anyone else, but I prepared the seller to compare my proposal to everyone else's.
Really good, man. I definitely appreciate it. And I kind of do that already, but I definitely like the way you catered that.
That was awesome, man. Thanks, Mills. Are you doing any kind of financing for the seller? Ask and find out if they're doing self-financing. If they're planning on doing something like that, where they're doing a carryback, where, you know, that's a whole different scenario. You'll have to talk to a lender, get all that situated in the contract, figure out those numbers. Number 9, would you describe your home for me? This is going to tell you their personality type, who they are as a person. I'll be sending the information. By this time, you would have sent your pre-listing packet over to the seller. You would have sent your contract, your marketing plan, your net sheet, and the contract with the commission price and all that on there. You would have sent everything over to them. So if at this point, hey, listen, I sent the information over to you. Do you have any questions about anything? This is where you're going to find out the true objection of the seller. If you sent everything over to me, like, did you get a chance to review my marketing? Yeah. Do you have any questions about it? Did you get a chance to review the net sheet, how much you're walking away with? Yeah. Do you have any questions about it? If they reviewed everything and they tell you, no, they don't have any questions and everything looks good, then you know tomorrow is a come list me call. Tomorrow is a come list me call. You're just walking over there, getting everything signed. They've already reviewed it. They don't have any problems. But if they review it and you ask them on this question, did you get a chance to check it all out? Do you have any questions? And they tell you, yeah, you know, I saw the contract. It's 12 months long. I saw here that you're charging 6% commission. I saw here that we're only walking away with X, Y, and Z. I see that you're doing this and not that. This is where you become a great salesperson. You write down the objection, isolate it, and move on to the next. Great. So you have a question about the commission, 6%. Okay. Other than that, push it to the side, isolate it. Other than the 6% commission, do you have any other questions about the proposal I emailed over to you? And I love the word proposal, by the way, side note. I like proposal. It just sounds cleaner, more professional. Not agreement, not packet. The proposal we emailed over to you. No, that's the only question that I have. Then you know they have a question about that. You know, yeah, I did review everything. Everything looks fine. I do have a question about your marketing though. Okay. Other than the marketing, do you have any other questions regarding the proposal I sent over? No, that's it. Great. Well, just so you know, then you go down to the bottom. The last point. Just so you know, our meeting should only take about 5 to 25 minutes. I like to add a little more. Just so you know, our meeting should be about 5 to 25 minutes. I'm going to give you some feedback on the property and how to prepare it. We're going to review the marketing and then sign the autograph the entire agreement. Sound good? Yeah, sounds good. Perfect. I'll see you tomorrow then. Now, I did tell you I was going to give you guys a bonus question. One of the questions you want to ask, if they tell you yes, they're going to interview other agents for the job of selling the house. Write this question down. I need you to ask them, what are the top 3 qualities they're looking for in the agent they hire to sell their home? What are the top 3 qualities that you're looking for in the agency that you hire to sell your home? They're going to tell you what's most important to them. What are the top 3 qualities you're looking for in the agency you decide to hire to sell your home? This is where they're going to reveal their true intentions. What's inside of their heart? What's important to them? So quick question, Dolores, what are the top 3 qualities you're looking for in the agency you decide to hire to sell your home? Well, I really want someone who's honest. Marketing is really important to me. They have to have a really good marketing plan. And I want someone who's going to help me get the highest sales price. Ask that question. You're going to find out what's most important to the consumer. When you find out what's most important to the consumer, you can tailor your listing presentation to focus on those things a lot. I want someone who's honest. Well, if they want someone who's honest, you need to do a really good job at conveying honesty throughout the entire presentation. I would then use language like, in full transparency. I would probably even say something like this in the beginning. If I knew that honesty was one of their values, I might even say something like this. Hey, Savano, I totally get it, man. Look, just so you know, today, my objective is to get whatever it is that you're looking for. That's my goal. My goal is to help you get what you want. If it works out, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. I want to disarm you in the very beginning. If I know honesty is one of your biggest things, my tonality is going to change a little bit. I might talk a little softer, a little slower. Hey, listen, William, I totally get it. Honesty is very important to you. And I want to let you know off the very beginning that my objective is to help you get what you want. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, that's okay. And if it does, awesome. Let's do it. Move forward. Sound good? But we're going to move at your pace because I want them to feel the authenticity. Because naturally, as a high D personality, I'm very hoorah, a lot of energy. But sometimes a lot of energy and a lot of hoorah can come off as not being authentic. So you have to practice that if you know that honesty is one of their things. If you know that marketing is something that's very important to them and being aggressive. You know what, Ariana, I want a real estate agent that's going to be aggressive. I want someone who's going to be marketing the heck in my home, very aggressive. And guess what? I'm coming a little more forceful. I might look like William in that picture, have a red tie, very powerful, sitting across the table and say, hey, listen, just so you know, Ariana, I'm going to get this home sold. There's no one better than me. There's no one better than us out there. We can expose your property to more people. And I'm using more aggressive language because the client already told me that they want an agent who's aggressive and has a powerful marketing plan. So that question is going to identify the true values of that seller that you have. Ask that question at the end. Lastly, we touched on this in the very beginning. When you're delivering, number one, I need you guys, let's recap. Number one, where you see 3 dots, that's your opportunity to pause briefly on the script. Hi, this is Gabe. How are you today? Pause. Not, hi, this is Gabe. How are you today? Pause. Every time you see the 3 dots on the script, I want you guys to take a slight pause. Number 2, I need you to have enthusiasm while you're reading the script with a powerful downswing on that. Number 3, I need you guys to rewrite some of these words so that you get the same message across just in your own words. Take time to rewrite this script. On the next sales cadence call, we can go over it together. Come prepared. Print this out, rewrite it in your own words to make sure you get the same message across. Number 4, at the very end, if they, on number 7, if they tell you they're going to interview other agents, I need you to ask the additional question. What are the top 3 qualities you're looking for in the agency to hire your home? And what are the names and license numbers of the other agents you're interviewing? If they answer yes to number 7. If they don't, if they're not, number 5, at the very top, when I come out, if what I tell you feels comfortable and safe, if they tell you yes, I'm ready to list with you, you don't need to go over anything else. You skip down to the bottom automatically. Great. So just so you know, tomorrow should take about 5 to 15 minutes, 5 to 25 minutes. We're going to look at the condition of your home. We're going to autograph all the paperwork and come up with a timeline. Sound good? Sounds good. Awesome. See you tomorrow. And then you show up tomorrow, look at the house, come up with a timeline, sign the paperwork. Don't talk yourself out of it. I have 3 minutes left. I want to open it up for Q&As on the pre-qualifying script. What questions do you guys have?
Gabe, this is Diana. Going back to, are you going to interview other agents? And then you ask, what are the 3 qualities? What if they just like say, I want to net a certain amount, and then after you look at the net sheet, after you look at everything and you kind of work with your commission, it's still not the amount, and the other realtor is promising them they're going to net the amount they're looking for? What then?
So when you sit down at the listing presentation, number 1, you don't handle the objection over the phone. You just stay with them and say, okay, so you want to net this amount? Great. Okay. We'll sit down tomorrow and we'll discuss that. Is there anything else? Other than that, is there anything else on the packet I sent over to you? Once you've identified all the objections that they have, if the only thing is that, then you're going to sit down with them. Here's how you overcome that objection. I think I did this during, I forgot which call I did this on. One of my favorite listing price objection handlers of all time. This one might take me over a couple of minutes. I'll be as fast as possible with it. It's very important when you're sitting across the table from the sellers that you're showing them the sales comparables live. You don't print the comparables out in advance. If you have this objection, I'm going to say that one more time. If you have this objection about someone who has the pricing objection and they want to walk with a certain amount, do not print the listing comparables live, print them out beforehand. You're going to present them live with them in person. You're going to pull out the MLS. You're going to show them all the filters, and then you're going to educate them. This is the conversation you're having. Diana, the whole point of this next portion is for you. I'm going to talk to you like a client. So, hey, Diana, what I'm going to do with you is I'm actually going to look, you and I are going to look at this house as if you're looking to buy it. Okay, Diana? I'm going to look at this property as if you're looking to purchase your property. And me being a good buyer's agent, this is me educating you. Me as a good buyer's agent, I'm going to show you how we come up with the value of a home, how appraisers come up with the value of the home. They do something called the sales comparable method. I actually don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to try to go even shorter. Step number 1, Diana, what you're going to do is you're going to do the comparables with them live. Step number 2, you're going to educate them. Let them know how appraisers come up with the evaluation. Ask them the question, hey, Diana, do you know how appraisers come up with the evaluation of the home? No, I don't. They compare similar properties. That's what we're going to do today. Pull out the sales comparables, bedrooms, baths, square footage in front of them. And you're going to show the ones that have sold recently, the last like 6 weeks, 8 weeks in this current market, or 4 weeks. You're going to find everything that's active for sale on the market and everything that is pending in escrow. I would say no more than 2 in each category, 2 that have sold, 2 that are active, 2 that are pending. And you're going to pull those up in front of them so they can see it themselves. And you're going to go one by one on the active, one by one on the pending, one by one on the sold, and you're going to have them compare their property to that house. If you find a home that's significantly better than theirs or better than theirs in square footage, bedrooms and baths, even condition, that's sold for more than what they're asking for, Let's say the client wants 900,000 and the one that you're looking at in front of them sold for 875. You are going to sit with your client and say, look, client, this one sold for 875, but it has one more bedroom. It also has a pool in the backyard. The condition is arguably or subjectively a little nicer. Your home, you want 900,000 for it. Let me ask you a question, client. This is what you tell the client when you're sitting in front of them. Let me ask you a question. If you're hiring me to help you buy this home and you go online because you're a savvy buyer, you want a deal, you want X, Y, and Z, you want me to negotiate the best price for you, and you find this home at 875 that has a pool and one more bedroom and subjectively a better condition. If you find this house on your own and you see this one for 900,000, and I walk up to you, client, and I say, yeah, 900,000, let's offer 900,000 immediately. Let's go all in, full asking price. You're going to sit back, you're going to look at me as your buyer's agent, and you're going to question my integrity. You're going to question if I have your best interest at heart, because you and I both see this 875. It has one more bedroom and it has a pool. Why on earth would you pay 900,000 for a home that has one less bedroom, no pool, and subjectively not as good condition? You would want to offer, if anything, 850. You would question my integrity. You would question if I have your your fiduciary responsibility, if I'm upholding my fiduciary responsibility. You would question all of that because you can see yourself that it's not there. So if you wouldn't pay this $900,000 price point for this home, why would anyone else? And I want to let you know something, Mr. Seller. Most of these agents that are out there right now are trained that way. They're trained to disqualify your home. And as you can see with this property at 875, well, Gabe, there's a house for 925 that's for sale. I agree. Look at the average date. Look at the days on market with that property. It's been on the market now for 50 days, 40 days, 30 days, 60 days. And the one that sold in 20 days. So clearly this one's overlisted. This is why it hasn't sold yet. The active property, Mr. Seller, is a clear indication of what people will not pay for that type of house. So if you want to sit on the market like this property and not sell, that's the price you need to be at. But if you want to sell and get people to bid on your property, that's the price you need to be at. So number one, you got to create that frame so they can see what you see. The reason you're having an objection right now, Diana, with how much money they're going to walk away with is because they can't see what you see yet. So bring them into your lens by having that conversation. When you put them in the buyer's seat, they can now see what you see. And now logically, it makes sense to them. Does that help answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
Did that help a lot of you guys out there? I'm hoping that's one of my favorite objection handlers that gets me all my listings like signed all the time. When you can take them out of their seller hat, show them what's on the market, put them in a buyer seat, and be like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. You're right. Gabe, you're right, man. If you were my buyer's agent, I would want you to fight for me. And of course, Mr. Seller, this is what all the other agents are going to do for their clients. They're going to fight for their best interest, and that price is going to drop down significantly. Really good question, Diane. And even after that point, let them know, say, listen, why don't we do this? I want to help you out. Let's list it at that price and see the activity. I'm going to do everything that I talked about in our marketing. I'm going to do the postcards, the door knocking, the social media advertising. We're going to create the video, the single property website. We're going to do all of it for you. Let's list it and see what happens with it. But if in 2 weeks, depending on the days on market, right? I don't know your market, but let's say it was San Diego, somewhere here. If in 21 days it doesn't move, let's drop the price down by 5%, 3%, 2%, whatever the market stats dictates. Sound good? Yeah, let's give it a try. This way they know that you're on their side at least, and you get that listing signed. If they don't want to sign with you because after that, like, no, this agent signed at that point, here's what I want all of you guys to tell that seller next. Okay, Mr. Seller, I completely understand you want to sign with someone else because they promised you, and you and I both can see that there's no way that they can do that for you because we looked at the data. They have access to the same data that we have access to. Let me ask you for a favor. If you decide to go with that other agent and you sign with them, if in 3 weeks that home doesn't sell, or if within 3 weeks or after they ask you for a price reduction, you put a clause in the contract that states, if this agent asks me for a price reduction, and if in 3 weeks we don't have an offer at full asking price, this listing agreement is now void, effective immediately. Add the language that listing agreement is void immediately upon request of a price reduction or no offer within 3 weeks. Because if that agent's guaranteeing you they can sell at that price, have them put it inside the agreement to protect you, Mr. Seller, to protect you. Now you put an idea in their head for them to go ahead and write that clause inside of it. And if in 3 weeks, that agent decides to ask them for a listing price reduction, because you know they will, it's going to happen. And if they decide to get a lower offer, that listing agreement is signed and they have to call you. But your goal is to get them to sign it with you there in that moment. What other question do we have? I see some head nods. I see some people writing. It's good. This is why I like the cameras on, because I can see you guys interacting and taking. I can see the mental notes being absorbed. This is good. What else?
Gabe, hi, Gabe. It's Crystal. At what point, like if they're fighting the commission, at what point do you give in and just like, okay, you know what, I'll reduce it a bit? Like, when would you say that? I'm heading to a listing appointment right now.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, great. So the listing, so let's talk about that for a quick second. The listing whenever they question the listing commission, it's always a question of value. What am I getting for it? So I need all of you, I'm going to talk to all of you, not just Crystal, but listen, when you're talking about commission has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with value. What am I getting in exchange for what I'm paying? Let's talk about it. Women, if you've ever bought a pair of expensive shoes before, heels, red bottoms, the heels aren't any different. Actually, red bottoms, from what I hear, they're actually a lot more uncomfortable than regular shoes. Yet you're still going to pay almost $1,000 for these heels that are much more uncomfortable. Why? Because it's the value that it gives you. It gives you status. It gives you conversation. It gives you a better look and feel from the outside. Even though it's killing your feet on the inside, you'll still pay more for it. It's nothing about it's everything about the value that you're being given. So what you have to do in terms of going out there is you have to show them what the value is that you're getting for that commission. And number two, you have to explain to them how the commission works. So, hey, Mr. Seller, I understand, totally get it. Look, do you understand how the commission works? Yeah, no, maybe I don't understand how the commission works. Okay. As a seller, you're responsible for paying both parties, the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. The buyer's agent commission, that's 2.5 or that's 3%, whatever you want to offer. We can't touch that. That's what you're paying the other party to bring in the buyer. And if they do have an objection about how much they're paying the buyer, that's a completely different conversation. Right now, I'm trying to give you the quickest answer before you go to that listing presentation. So, Mr. Seller, are you familiar with how commissions work? No. Well, out of the seller is responsible for paying both commissions, the buyer and the seller. The buyer's commission is 2.5%. On the list side, it's 3.5%. I want to break down the 3.5% so you know how it is. This is what you're getting for the job that you're paying for selling your home. It's also really important for you to remind them that they're paying this commission to sell their home. So the 3.5% that you're paying to sell your property, 1% of that needs to go into the marketing, or 1.5% of that needs to go into the marketing. So 1.5% of the money that you're paying to sell this property goes into marketing. That goes into the postcards, it goes into the door knockers, it goes into the flyers, it goes into the open house, it goes into the website, it goes into the social media advertising. This is how we're going to create all the marketing pieces for the job of selling your home. 1% of that goes to the broker. This is how we're going to protect you legally with your attorney fees, with your E&O insurance. This is how, if any problems come up, my broker gets involved, the manager gets involved. This protects you legally, and you want legal protection, right? You see the head, you want legal protection, right? Yeah, great. And when it comes to marketing your property, we understand that marketing your property effectively is what creates the most demand. And you want to sell your home for top dollar, right? Yes, I want to sell my home for top dollar. Mr. Seller, how do we sell your home for top dollar? Well, I don't know. I can tell you how we sell your home for top dollar. You have to create more demand for your property. How do you create more demand for your property, Mr. Seller? Well, I don't know. You have to advertise it really well. So the more awareness we bring to your property, the more demand you're going to have. When you have more demand, you get more offers. When you have more offers, you get a better sales price and better terms. This is where I bring in the analogy of the iPhone versus the Android. Let me explain to you how powerful demand is, Mr. Seller. Let me explain to you how powerful it is. What kind of phone do you have? Oh, I have an Android. Perfect. I have an iPhone. So Mr. Seller, which phone is better, the Android or the iPhone? Oh my gosh, the Android lovers, by the way, you guys, Android lovers love Androids. That's the best thing. And truth be told, Androids are better than iPhones. But oh, you have an Android? Perfect. Which one's better? Oh, Android's way better. And it's like, yeah, Mr. Seller, you're right. Androids are better. And you're going to see him kind of sit back and be like, see, baby, I told you. He's going to look at his wife like, see, I told you Androids are better. Everyone thinks iPhones are better, but Androids are truly better. You're right, Mr. Seller. The Android is a better phone. It has a better camera, better technology. But let me ask you a question. When both phones are released, which phone sells out and which one does not sell out on opening day? Well, the Android doesn't sell out. We know it doesn't sell out. The iPhone always sells out. They have lines wrapped around the building, people paying top dollar for it. Can you tell me why? Ask that question. Can you tell me why the iPhone sells out on day one, but your phone, that's a better phone, does not? Get them to tell you why. Oh, it doesn't sell out because it's obvious why. The marketing. Mr. Seller, the reason your phone, a better phone, does not sell out and my phone, an inferior phone, does is because Apple has a strong marketing campaign and they create demand. Do you know how they do it? Before this phone is listed for sale, they have a coming soon campaign for 3 months. They have advertising on websites, television, radio. They do celebrity endorsements. They have postcards and flyers, social media advertising. They have people drooling over the fact that they moved the charger from the bottom to the top, or they added a 4th camera to it. Everyone's losing their socks like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's because they've created demand. And on grand opening, when iPhone says you can finally touch it, they have lines wrapped around their building. They're selling their phone out. Android can't do that because their marketing isn't there. So do you see how important marketing it is? How important marketing is? Yeah, I see how important marketing is. Do you see how marketing can create demand? Yes, I see how marketing can create demand. And do you see how demand gets you more offers and helps you sell out? Yes, I see that. That's why you're paying me 3.5%. Because 1.5 is going to go into creating demand for your home. 1% goes into legally protecting you. And guess what, Mr. Seller? While you're sitting back watching your home get marketed and negotiating and all that stuff, you're just going to be sitting back with your arms crossed, legally protected, and your home's going to sell for top dollar with me. And guess what? That last 1% of the 3.5, that's what I get. I get the 1% for putting everything together and orchestrating all of it so you can sit back. And out of that 1%, I still get to pay taxes on it. I still get to do that portion of it, but that's what I get, 1%. Does that make sense? And when you explain it to them like that, bruh, I want to sign that listing for them right now. Like, that's how good it gets. That's what you want to do. So explain to them where their commission's going right now. So when you sit down, Crystal, very long story short, sit down, break down that 6%. 2.5% goes to the buy side. That's non-negotiable. 3.5 goes to the list side. 1.5 goes into marketing, 1% goes to your broker, and you collect 1% for doing all of it together. They need to see what they're getting for that 6%. Was that helpful? Any other questions? Any final thoughts? We ended up going an hour, crazy. Any final thoughts? Any other last minute questions we have? Let's get some takeaways. What was everyone's takeaway from today?
Actually, you know what? I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so what if a seller wants the information? They say, okay, let's just say, for instance, a seller says, okay, I'm thinking about moving. I want to move out of state, but I might move next year. And then you hit them with the objection of the time versus money. Well, if you can get more money now as opposed to next year, would you be willing to move forward now? Would that be an option? And if they say, well, send me information, send me some numbers, and then if the numbers make sense, we'll be willing to do that. So how do you take the conversation from there? Do you send them a net sheet? Do you, like, I don't know, just tell me, like, where would I take it from there?
If you're trying to show them that they can make more money now versus later?
Yes.
And what would be the next step?
Yes.
let's talk logically. What do you think you should send that client if you feel that they can make more money right now versus later? What would make the most sense to send them now to help them see what you see?
I would say maybe comparables and showing them that that home values are decreasing.
That's number one, a graph, absolutely, of the market. I agree with that strongly. Yes, that was my first answer. What's number two? What else can you send to them right now?
I don't know.
What about showing them what their potential loss is going to be by waiting 12 months based on projections? And then showing them what they can get right now.
Okay.
Number one, you have to logically help them make the decision. But number two, you also have to understand that people don't make decisions based on logic. They make it based on emotion. So, hey, look, Mr. Seller, do you see from the data that I sent over to you that how you could potentially end up losing 15% of equity if you wait 12 more months? Great. And you said you wanted to use this equity to upgrade to a bigger home. You wanted to use this equity to retire. You wanted to use this equity to buy a smaller condo because everyone left the house already, right? Okay, and if you wait 12 months and you see that we're trending downward, don't you agree that's going to negatively affect your plans to buy that house? Well, if I can help you sell your home right now at the top of the market and help you negotiate a better deal and get some closing costs covered for you, would you be willing to consider that option sooner than later?
Closing costs covered for you? This is a seller.
Yeah, if they want to purchase another home.
Oh, no, they're moving out of state. They just want to tap into their equity right now, move out of state, and pay off another property in Australia.
Perfect. So, Mr. Seller, let me ask you a question. As you can see from the information, the data that I sent you, you said you want to use this equity to go retire in Australia, right? Okay. And you can see if we wait another 12 months, how your equity is going to be negatively affected by 15%. You can see how that's going to hurt those plans to retire, right? Oh my gosh, yeah, I can see how that's going to hurt me. Okay, great. So if I can help you sell right now at the top of the market, take that money and retire in Australia, would you consider it sooner rather than later? You know what? Yeah, Stephanie, I would consider it sooner rather than later. Great. When's a good time for us to meet? Logically show them so they can explain it, but they won't make a move or a decision until emotionally it affects them. People don't buy off of logic, they buy off of emotion. Show them the logic, get them to move with emotion. Wait, man, Mr. Australia owner, dude, you want to wait 12 months? You see the market where it's trending. If your whole goal is to retire and use your equity, you're going to have 15% less equity in your home in 12 months. That's going to hurt you. But if I can help you sell right now at the top of the market before we get there and get you to retire in Australia with 15% more equity, which is about $90,000, whatever the math comes out to, 90 more thousand, would you consider your option sooner rather than later? Yeah, I would consider it sooner rather than later. Great. Let's sit down and talk. When are you available? Then book the appointment.
Okay, so what if they consider interest rates, because they're hearing also that interest rates may go back down sometime next year, and what if they say, well, if interest rates go back down, then that's going to cause home prices to continue to go up again?
Show them the data. Show them the data. Hey, look, people have been talking, the Feds had earlier this year, the Feds had predicted the rates will be in the 8% by Q1 of next year. There's a lot of wishing and hoping and things like that. But wouldn't you agree we've been in a high for the last 12 years? Real estate high. And don't you agree that everything that goes up must come down? And don't you feel as a consumer that, yeah, prices were getting a little unaffordable? Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. Okay, so what do you think, Mr. Seller, based on the logic that you see, all the data that you see, what do you think makes the most sense? Do you think the prices are going to jump back up again next year? Rates are going to go back down? Or do you think the Feds are going to try to control inflation and try to bring these prices back down to a more affordable rate? I think they're going to try to come down to affordable rate. All the data is showing us that too. It's time for us to go back down. And what do you lose? What do you lose if you sell now versus later? Well, if you sell now versus later, you don't really lose much. Maybe a 2-3% increase in prices, maybe. But what if you wait? How much do you lose then? Well, you could potentially lose 10 to 15% of your equity. So now if we're talking about a risk assessment, it makes more sense for you to sell now versus later. Create that risk assessment for your client.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Cool. All right, team. I got to bounce. I have a 10 o'clock appointment that I'm late for, so I got to bounce out of here. But that was a really good conversation. Please, pre-qualifying script, 3 dots, pause, say it with a strong tonality, rewrite the words to make sure they're yours, add those 2 questions if they're going to interview other agents. Watch this video, download the script. We'll see you guys at the 11 and 12 o'clock training. Have a healthy, happy, productive day. God bless. Peace.